Ano mga dapat bantayan kung bibili ka ng condominium dito sa Pilipinas? Kung nakabili ka na at naka-encounter ka ng problema, ano legal remedies mo against the property developer?
Ito ang tanong ng reader natin ngayon. Ayan, anong sabi niya? Okay, attorney, I'm an overseas worker and I'm thinking of buying a condo in the Philippines. Ano naman?
Nakapag-ipon.
Nakapag-ipon na. What should I look out for? How do I avoid getting scammed?
Ay, siguro maraming narinig to na kwento, no? Yung mga nagbayad pero ilang taon na wala pa rin nangyayari or nag-deliver pero pangit yung lumabas na condo, ang layo sa picture. Oo.
In addition, if I encounter issues, what are the remedies that you can recommend?
Yan.
Now, this is from Jojo Mirano.
Ayan, sounds familiar. Sounds
Thank
familiar.
you, Jojo.
So in this episode, we will be discussing 3 things. Number 1, what should you look out for before buying? Kung bibili ka pa lang, ano yung mga binabantayan? Or kung sakali kumonsulta ka sa abogado, at ano yung dapat kong hingiin, di ba? Na proof na legit itong kausap ko. Pag-uusapan natin yan. Next, what are the different cases you can file? So ano yung mga iba't ibang klase ng disputes na pwedeng humingi tayo ng tulong sa ahensya? At anong ahensya ang pinag-uusapan natin dito?
Nice.
And then finally, what is the procedure when you file a complaint? Ano yung mangyayari? Para attorney, can you give me an idea paano yung takbo ng proseso? Ipapatawag ba ako ng korte? Tipong kailangan ba akong manumpa at maging witness? Ano ba yung takbo ng proseso when it comes to disputes regarding property?
Yan. Okay, pero bago ang lahat ng yan, let's do a shout out muna to one of the people na nagbigay ng comment sa atin. So, ano sabi niya? I was surprised that I enjoyed this seminar considering the topic is daunting.
Yeah. I think pinag-uusapan niya yung employee discipline.
Employee discipline seminar natin. No? The technical discussions were laid down so simply and practically that they became easier for a beginner like me to understand. I look forward to applying these. Now, this is from Faye Tolentino.
Nako.
Thank you so much, Faye Tolentino.
Mag-iingat yung mga pasaway. Faye is looking forward to applying employee discipline principles. Di ba? But we're very thankful that we were able to make it easy for you to understand, Faye. And we look forward to helping you more. Thank you so much for sharing that. And by the way, for those other people who are watching and you want to suggest a topic for future shows, kagaya nito, sasagutin natin yung tanong from Jojo Mirano, di ba? Why don't you go to our website at www.legalguide.ph and click the submit topic button.
Yeah.
You can submit your topic there and who knows, it might be the topic for our next show. Now, let's get on with our show.
If you bought property and you're having issues with your developer, we have something that can help. We recorded an FAQ session where we answered the most common questions related to real property issues. You can access the recording by going to www.legalaccess.ph and choosing the Property Developer Issues link there.
Welcome to Legal Guide Philippines, where we simplify the law to help you make better choices. I'm Attorney Ramon Ramirez and I'm with my partner,
Attorney Erwin Sagala. So today, we're talking about condominium issues. Attorney Ramon.
Okay, wow.
Actually, madaming mga tanong regarding this. So we decided to make an episode out of it.
Yes.
Iba-iba kasi yung issues eh. Pwedeng they're at the buying phase, di ba? Paano ko malalaman kung legit yung kausap ko or hindi ako lolokohin nitong developer na to?
Correct.
Pwede rin naman na tapos nang bumili and they're in the waiting phase na i-deliver sa kanila or pwede rin naman na i-deliver na sa kanila. Regardless of where you are in the process, this video will be able to help you because we'll be discussing a little bit out of each of the phases.
Right.
Okay, so let's get started with the first one. So bago pang bumili.
Okay.
Diba? Ito yung favorite ko na klase ng kliyente na tulungan. You know why?
Bakit?
Marami pa tayong pwedeng gawin. Diba? Hindi pa ganun kalaki yung problema. And we can actually avert the problem kung sakali.
Hindi pa sila nagpipirmahan kasi.
Wala pa. Okay, so kung ako ang tatanungin, attorney, may balak akong bilhin kondo eh. Can you help me figure it out? Ano yung mga hihingiin ko or ano yung mga titignan ko? Ito naman. There are 2 things. How many? 2 things na titignan ko. Kasama ba rito yung kung gaano kaganda yung brochure?
I'm sure hindi.
Kaya kasama ba rito? Gaano ka-helpful and kabibo no ahente?
Legal to eh, so I'm sure hindi.
Hindi. So those are nice things to have. Okay, but from a legal perspective, there are two things that we look for. The first is registration. Okay, now, the pertinent law here is PD 957. Okay?
PD? So, presidential decree pa yan?
Oo, medyo luma na yung batas, but it's still useful for us. Now, under PD 957, ang sinasabi, the registered owner of a parcel of land who wishes to convert the same into a subdivision project shall submit his subdivision plan to the authority which shall act and approve the same. Upon finding that the plan complies with subdivision standards and regulations. Medyo mahaba pa yung batas, Attorney Ramon. However, the thing here is, it's not a matter of right. Privilege po kasi na makapag-develop ka ng isang property. And that includes yung mga condos. This is for real estate in general. So, ganito po, hindi porke may lupa ka, pwedeng patayuan ko na lang na condo yan. Ipa-parcel out ko and then pamimigay. No, kailangan po i-clear yan with the government and you need a registration to be able to do that. That is definitely the first step. Now, kung sakali naman na mag-a-apply ka for registration, ito naman yung on the side na ng developer. Hinihingi dito yung name of owner, the location, the names and addresses of the directors and officers of the company para syempre alam who's responsible for that.
Yes.
The general character of the business actually transacted or to be transacted by the owner and the statement of the capitalization. Now, kakailanganin din kopya ng subdivision plan. So, what happens here is you should be aware na bago pa pagsimula ang isang project, dapat planado na yan. Kompleto na yan kasi isasubmit yan as part of the registration. Now, kasama rin dito yung lahat ng marketing materials. So, a copy of any circular, brochure, advertisement, letter, or communication. So, hindi pa nagsisimula yung project, dapat yung marketing yan buo na. What's the logic of this? Ito, binabasa ko lang. Ang intindi ko rito, gusto malaman ng government what you plan to offer. Kasi kung sakaling sobrang layo, di ba? Parang minsan, di ba, pag nakakita ka sa restaurant ng picture nung burger.
Yan, diba? Usually sa fast food mga nakikita yan,
Oo, di ba?
Sarap tingnan nun, di ba?
Di ba? Pagdating sa'yo, ano to? Parang piping-pipi. Hindi siya. Mukhang nadali ka na.
Palagi tayo nadadali dyan, brother. Yes,
So, in the same way, di ba, pagdating dun sa picture, ay, Diyos ko, mansion yung papasukan ko. Ang ganda naman ito.
Spacious!
Kahit mag-basketball ako dito sa loob, pwede, Diyos ko. Pagdating, ay, Diyos ko, malaki pa yung bahay ng kalapati namin sa bahay, sa dati kong bahay, di ba? So I guess the government is also checking for consistency there, okay? In addition, in case of a business firm, hinihingi ng balance sheet yan ng government. Para lang malaman na totoong may kakayanan yung
kasi hindi
developer.
mura mag-develop, no?
Yes.
So sana may capital sila.
Yes, and then finally, kopya nung sa titulo ng lupa na pagtatayuan. That way, sure tayo natutuloy, di ba? And I admire the government for putting up all of these requirements. That way, kahit papano, pag lumagpas ng registration yung kausap ninyong developer, medyo may laban naman. Medyo may laban. May lupa talaga, may plano. Okay? So, does it guarantee na tutuloy yung project? As much as we would want it to be, hindi. It's not a guarantee. However, it increases the chances. Diba? Kasi well-equipped yung tao to be able to do that. So, that's the first thing that we look for. So, attorney, kapag may registration, okay na ba yan? Tingin nyo, credible na yan?
Pag rehistrado na sa gobyerno, pwede na ba?
Pwede na ba lumaban yan? Nope, may hinihintay pa akong pangalawa.
Ano yan?
And that is the license to sell. Okay. Under Section 5 of the law, it requires a license to sell. So yung may rehistro, ipapaalam pa nila kung pwede na nilang ibenta. So, kumbaga sa lisensya, dalawa yung lisensya na hinihingi mo, di ba? Kumbaga sa kotse, di ba, pag may lisensya ka na, free to drive ka na. Dito pala, no, kumbaga may lisensya ka for each car. Di ba? So kung ibebenta mo na itong property na to, paalam ka ulit.
Nice.
Okay? Now, what is the purpose for the license to sell? The ending is to bind the developers to all of their obligations and commitments to the buyers.
Okay.
So dito sa license to sell, dito na kasi lalabas yung mga contract to sell, yung mga nitty-gritty details, 'di ba, ng mga obligations niya to the buyers. And in addition kasi, ganito, minsan nagtataka yung ibang tao na parang, attorney, bakit ko pa hihingiin yan, di ba? Nakakapagtayo naman ng building yung kausap ko. Well, for one, it's against the law. Di ba? Na maggawa ka ng developments without registration and a license to sell. But the most important thing is, kapag dumaan kasi ng proseso yung developer, the law will be requiring a performance bond. A what?
A performance bond.
Pagdating sa issuance kasi ng license to sell, kung wala kang performance bond, hindi ka magkakaroon ng license to sell. Now, what is the importance of this? Kumbaga, ganito, performance bond is a certain amount of money or obligation na pinapangako ng developer sa gobyerno. Kapag hindi namin natapos itong project na to the way we promised, then what will happen is that mafo-forfeit yan. Hindi na namin pwedeng bawiin yan. Okay? So, syempre, ayaw nila yon. Most definitely, ayaw nila yan. So, for me, mas dagdag lang ng credibility. Tsaka mas kampante ako dealing with a developer kung sakaling dumaan ng registration tsaka ng license to sell. Kasi there are a lot of safeguards in place. What's the word?
Safeguards.
Safeguard in favor of the buyer na tutuloy yung project.
So sa akin, attorney, even if hindi lang kampante, parang I think it's requirement number 1 na rehistrado at may license to sell. Tama ba, attorney?
Yes. Now, ito, ngayong naiintindihan na ninyo how it works behind the scenes, I challenge you, next time na kunwari nagpupunta kayo na mall and then may mga kiosk advertising real estate, try nyo silipin sa marketing materials, doon sa mga posters nila, masisilip mo ngayon yan, registration tsaka license to sell. Ngayong naiintindihan na ninyo, it will take on that deep, much more meaning for you. So, yun ang hahanapin ninyo.
And also, Attorney Erwin, so yun yung mga legal requirements, no? So, according sa batas, kailangan registered sila and meron silang license to sell. Also, I think it would help our si Jojo na at least ako in my experience and my experience with clients, with a lot of our clients, no, na may problema, ang daming problema sa mga developer. It seems to me na it's easier, parang it would help if merong track record yung developer.
I definitely agree.
No?
While it may not be legal, it's very practical advice.
Yes, so practical advice lang, no. It's nice to look at yung developer and see kung ano yung track record nila. Ano na ba yung mga naging projects nila in the
Actually, track
past.
record for good and bad stuff.
Yeah.
Kasi kung sakaling may track record din, pero puro kaso. Di ba? Kasi hindi nakakapag-deliver.
Meron tayong mga nakikita dyan na yung mga clients natin, itong developer na naman na to.
Kilala ko itong developer.
Ito na naman. Diba? Yan. May track record siya for bad stuff.
Actually, nakakatawa yun kasi sa dami ng kaso niya, alam na natin kung sino yung susulatan. Parang sa letterhead, papalitan mo na lang kasi ikaw na naman.
True.
Diba?
So yeah, look at the track record of the developer. And this is not legal, this is practical advice. Both good and bad track record of the developer na pagbibilan mo, Jojo.
While it's not a guarantee, tumataas yung probability.
Yes. So lahat naman ng transaction may risk di ba? So yes, that's correct.
Sige. So now, tapos na tayo dun sa before buying. Assuming na umabot na tayo dun sa buying phase. Bumili na. Ito na, nabili na Pero nagka-problema. Sino ngayon, what are the
Nagkapirmahan na.
Nagbabayad na
Ay,
nga.
nagbabayad na.
Kunwari, ganun. Okay.
Okay.
So pag-usapan naman natin, sino yung lalapitan na agency for that? And what are the legal remedies available? Okay. So, ganito. Dati, when we were starting out in practice, for anything housing related, saan ka tatakbo?
Sa HLURB.
Yes, di ba? HLURB.
Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board.
Yes.
Yan.
For the longest time, HLURB yung takbuhan.
So, ano yan
Circle.
Sa elliptical.
Katabi ng City Hall.
Dumadaan ako araw-araw dyan nun. Bago pumunta ng school.
HLURB. Now, in 2019, nagkaroon ng bagong agency.
Ano na?
Okay. So hindi na po HLURB. Actually, what happened was, minerge po yung dalawang agency. So, HLURB pertains to Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board. Ngayon, may isa pang agency na not as accessible kasi iba naman yung matters na tinatakil nila. But that is ewan ko paano HUD-C.
HUD-C.
HUD-CC. Actually, dalawa C.
I remember saying HUD-C.
HUD-C.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council.
Yun.
So, pinag-merge na po sila sa isang ahensya ngayon. Okay? So, right now, it's called DHSUD, or the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development. Ewan ko lang how they call it.
DHSUD.
Dosod. Hindi ko alam actually. Hindi pa, I haven't encountered it in, yung pag-mention, but it's the DHSUD.
Yan.
Okay. So doon na po ang lapitan ng lahat ng mga concerns when it comes to housing and real estate regulation. And actually, maraming trabaho tong government agency na to. It's supposed to develop mechanisms and coordinate with other attached agencies, yan, and they're also mandated to manage and oversee the development of socialized and economic housing. Madami kasi yun, yung mga, alam ko yung mga row houses yan, na medyo lower cost para mas accessible.
Socialized housing. No?
Socialized housing. They're also tasked to implement a single regulatory system that governs all activities related to planning, production, marketing, and management of housing and urban development projects. So lahat talaga ng aspeto sa kanila umiikot. They're also mandated to take over unfinished, incomplete, or abandoned projects.
Nice.
Now, pag-usapan naman natin yung adjudicatory function. So ano ang ibig sabihin ng adjudicatory function? Ang ibig sabihin nun is kapag may away,
May referee.
referee. So sila po yung nag-act as the referee. So kumbaga ang normal courts na alam natin, kunwari, 'di ba,
Regional Trial Court.
Trial Court,
Municipal Trial Court.
Municipal Trial Court. Ito naman for housing related issues.
So court ba siya?
It's quasi-judicial in nature. Pero for our purposes, ito yung korte na pupuntahan mo talaga. Okay? It's quasi-judicial because it's actually an executive agency. However, it's doing
Adjudicatory
functions. If you want more info on that, puntahan niyo yung video namin, How Government Works. Di ba? The three branches, we discussed that. So this is part of the executive, but they're doing adjudicatory functions. So, Attorney Ramon, pag-usapan naman natin yung iba't ibang klase ng kaso na pwedeng tanggapin ng DHSUD. Okay, so ito yung mga iba't ibang klase ng issues. Number 1, cases involving subdivisions, condominiums, memorial parks, and other similar real estate developments.
So, hindi lang pala condo, attorney.
Hindi.
Pati mga subdivision, pati memorial
So,
park.
pinag-uusapan dito, actions concerning unsound real estate business practices filed by buyers which cause prejudice to the buyers or committed with bad faith.
Ayan.
Ayan. So, yung mga medyo panggugulang na ginagawa sa mga buyers, pwede nilang i-take cognizance of and jurisdiction over. Next is claims for refund and other claims filed by subdivision
Madalas yan.
or condominium buyers, di ba? For any reason whatsoever, di ba? Next is cases involving specific performance or contractual and statutory obligations arising from the sale. Kunwari, sinabi mo may parking lot. Biglang nung binili na, walang parking lot,
Walang
di ba?
parking
Kasama sa usapan na.
O binenta sa iba.
O binenta sa iba, di ba? Ayan. O another is disputes involving the open spaces or common areas. Minsan nagkakaaway dyan. Hanggang saan ba yung sa akin, di ba? Ano yung pwede kong gamitin? Suits to declare subdivision, condominium, or other development within the regulatory jurisdiction of the department as abandoned. Kung ipapadeclare mo as abandoned. May legal implications po kasi yan once declared abandoned. Another thing is disputes involving easements within or among subdivision projects.
Okay, usually subdivision siguro yan.
Marami ang easement, daanan, daluyan ng tubig, whatever it is. Actions to annul mortgages executed in violation of PD 957. Cases involving homeowners associations. Ayan, pag nag-away mo yan. Yan, dyan po ang bagsak sa agency na to. Controversies involving the registration and regulation of homeowners associations. Intra-association disputes or controversies arising out of the relations between and among members. Pag sila po nag-away.
Pag nag-aaway-away, yung asosasyon.
Yes,
Okay,
ito po yung
members
referee.
ng- okay.
Ito po yung referee. Inter-association disputes, kung sakaling magkakaibang grupo naman. Dalawa, two or more homeowners
magkaaway si
associations.
Forbes, tsaka si yung isa, yung katabi niya.
Pwede.
Ano nga ba yan?
Oo. And pwede rin, disputes between homeowners associations and the state. Ang kaaway mo, gobyerno mismo, di ba? Ang daming away, ano? And for them to put it in the law, mukhang marami ng president.
Maraming nangyari na.
Oo. Pwede rin naman itackle yung mga disputes or controversies involving laws and regulations being implemented by the department. So kung makikita ninyo, actually, ang dami, ang broad po ng jurisdiction ng agency na to. And I think it would be best to consult a legal team kung sakaling pasok nga ba yung issue ninyo, isa-isa sa mga ito. Kasi these can get highly technical. Of course, we're just giving you guys a primer. Hindi naman namin ma-discuss lahat in detail. But
Correct.
legal team would be able to check that out for you. Okay? Now, yung pag-file nito, actually, iba-iba rin kasi yung jurisdiction, attorney naman, per region yan. So, even that, you have to consult your legal team about it. Kasi baka magkamali ka ng pag-filean.
Hindi automatic pumunta sa head office.
Oo, hindi. May certain rules yan, which I don't want to get into right now, but
This is not the venue for it.
medyo technical and we have to ask kasi kung nasaan siya and ano yung saan yung venue ng conflict or detail. Now, ito naman, I want to go to number 3, which is what is the procedure?
Okay.
So what can you expect kung sakaling mag-file kayo ng complaint?
Okay.
Diba? Kasi for some people, ang experience nila sa mga complaint, yung napapanood sa pelikula, di ba? Na, ano ba yan? May aarestuhin ba dyan? Or may witness ba on the witness stand? May judge? Okay, so here's where I give you a quick walkthrough. It will not always be this way. However, these are the general milestones na dinadaanan. And right now, actually, nadagdagan ng konting complexity kasi pwede na yung Zoom meetings. Di ba?
Yeah.
During the pandemic, ayun, in-enable na po na pwede mag-attend ng hearings via online, which for me as a practitioner, sobrang convenient kasi yung biyahe bawas. At the same time, pati sa kliyente, hindi mahirap kasi they can attend online. So, the procedure, here's how it goes. Assuming may lumapit sa atin,
Okay.
diba? Patulong po. The whole process is commenced through the filing of a verified complaint. Ibig sabihin ng verified complaint, may piece of paper ka, you lay out the facts kung bakit ka nagko-complain, and you have it notarized. That's what the verified portion is for. Okay? So, may format po yan na binibigay yung agency. And you just have to get a copy of that, you fill that out, and you pay the required legal fees. Now, yung legal fees, there is a schedule for that. The legal team can also apprise you on how to compute that. After ma-file yung complaint, magpapadala ngayon ng summons yan. Ipapatawag ngayon yung lahat ng mga parties. Nandun po naka-attach yung copy ng complaint as well as all of the attachments. Now, the respondent will be asked to file an answer. Okay, so magsasagutan muna via paper.
So, may complaint, isinabit yun, so sabihin ni government, sige, summons, ipatawag natin ngayon.
Yung pagpapatawag na yun ngayon, mandatory conference ang tawag doon. So magkakaroon ng hearing kung saan pwede kayong mag-usap.
Okay.
Ano ba gusto mo? Mag-usap kayo. Kumbaga, it's a attempt at settlement.
Hindi mo na siya magre-referee. Okay.
More or less, yung mandatory conference, it's 1, 2, 3 meetings. Depende sa takbo ng usapan. However, kung sakaling doon, hindi nakikita talaga ng adjudicator na mukhang walang pag-asa to, they will ask you to file a position paper.
Yeah.
So, kung makikita mo magkaiba, attorney mo ng complaint sa position paper. Complaint, more of the sparse details lang talaga. Kumbaga, hindi sparse Yung talagang summary lang na kung ano yung nangyari. Position paper, dun ka binibigyan ng pagkakataon na magkwento in detail.
And siguro yung legal arguments mo nandoon.
And yung legal arguments nandoon.
Okay.
So, position paper and draft decision hinihingi dyan. So,
okay.
so here, I would advise talaga may legal team kayo. While it's not required, actually, na magkaroon ng lawyer, good luck na lang kung kaya nyo gumawa ng draft decision on your own. It can be very technical. So,
Marami naman silang napanood na episode ng Suits or ng Ali McBeal.
malay mo, di ba? But highly recommended po to have a legal team advising you at this point.
True.
So after that, the agency writes the decision and the decision will be issued. So that's how it goes. Wala po yung hearing na nakikita ninyo na may witness na pinapatawag. Hindi po. Ang labanan po sa ahensyang to, papel. Okay, that's why we always insist. Kung may evidence po, it's always something that we can attach. So mas maganda po na documented.
True.
So that's it, Attorney Ramon. We talked about what they should look out for when buying, what are the things that they can ask the agency help for, and what is the process when they file a complaint.
For most of you, this video was more than enough. And if it makes your life easier, then of course, you're welcome. But there are those of you who will watch this video and end up asking more questions.
If that's you, then you can access our free recorded FAQ on property developer issues, where we answer the most common questions we get from clients who consult us about real estate disputes. Watch it at www.legalaccess.ph today. Now, one last thing. You worked hard to save and buy your property. Therefore, be very careful before buying. Know what are the things that you should look out for to ensure that you're dealing with a credible developer. Now, in case you've already bought and you encounter problems, be humble enough to ask for professional help so that the problem can be solved at the soonest possible time. So wasn't that simple?
Now go make better choices.